Everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the four-game Sunday slate. We have it's starting at 7 o'clock, three 7 p.m. games and one 8 p.m. game. Looking back at yesterday, the core plays were solid except for DeMar DeRozan. Even with DeRozan, we put up a 286. Used the core plays, which were pretty solid, except for DeRozan, like I said. Chris Paul was great at low ownership. Levine was solid. Morant was all right. Zeller was great. Then the other two I had was Thaddeus Young, who was one bucket shy of a triple double, and then DeJounte Murray. So let's keep it going today. Been doing well on Draftkings as of late, so hopefully tonight is no different. So let's get started. As always, appreciate you guys the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the website links in the description if you want to join. If you want to check out Prize Picks, you can use my promo code process for a deposit match up to $100. And let's get started. There's only four games, so there's not a ton to talk about, but we will still go position by position here. First up, at point guard, one big piece of news on the slate is James Harden is questionable. Don't know if he's going to play or not, but if he is out, then you definitely want to look at some Brooklyn Nets. It's a great spot against the Wizards. Play absolutely no defense. So if Harden happens to miss, then I definitely like Kyrie at 93, and I definitely like Kevin Durant. But assuming Harden is in for now, we have D'Angelo Russell's also questionable. If he happens to miss, then we can look to maybe Beasley. And last game, they actually started their first round pick, or number one overall pick, Anthony Edwards. So you could look to Edwards now if Russell misses. But first guy I think I will consider is Fred VanVleet at $7,700. The Raptors are going to be shorthanded once again tonight. They're going to be without Norman Powell, who's doubtful, and then OG's already been ruled out. So for a Nick Nurse team that already runs a really tight rotation, we should be seeing like very heavy minutes for Van Fleet, for Siakam, for Lowry. All of them are really good price at really good price tags. So Van Fleet is definitely a guy that I like. Other guys at point guard that look solid are Kyle Lowry at 7,200. Darius Garland, now that he's not really limited and looks to be playing a good amount of minutes, a couple blowouts recently, but expect him to kind of go back to playing in the mid 30s in minutes. And he's actually been playing very well this season in terms of shooting the ball and putting up some decent fantasy scores. So against Minnesota, the best matchup I basically could ask for. I think he looks like another solid option. Other guys that look decent at point guard are like I don't know why TJ McConnell is all the way at 5,100. That doesn't definitely not that appealing of a price tag. So you can kind of cross him out. I'm not that interested in Rubio either, unless Russell sits. And that's mainly it here. I'm not. And then you have Terrence Davis, who I'll plug in at shooting guard. He's only 3,500. He got the start last game, and he probably will start again. He only played 19 minutes, but the Nick Nurse basically runs like who's running hot besides his studs, or besides like Lowry, Siakam, and Van Fleet. I still expect Davis to maybe push into the 20s in minutes, but even if he is only going to play in the high teens, I think he can get it done at 3,500. And I would expect he has a chance to play a lot more minutes if he is playing well. Other guys at shooting guard, if there's no Harden, I still don't think I'll get the Bradley Beal at 10-2. Pretty unless we get some more value on the slate. Beasley looks fine if there's no Russell. Fournier's been playing pretty well. Bad game last time out in terms of shooting. Tough matchup against the Clippers with Paul George and Kawhi, but he's actually been playing very well and playing with the ball in his hands a little bit more just because they don't really have a point guard except for Cole Anthony. I do like Lamb a bit. He's 5,200. He has been fine. Like he's had one really good game. Other than that, he's been all right in terms of DFS. But actually maybe two good games. I think he's fine to play on a short slate. It's not an easy matchup. Sixers are very good defensively, but the Pacers are still like very short-handed right now in terms of scoring, so he's going to get a lot of shot attempts and looks. Other guys that look fine here at shooting guard are like maybe you can consider Shake Milne if Embiid happens to sit on he's questionable with a back injury. He played last time with the questionable tag. See if he does that again. Milton looks okay. If Embiid's in, I'm not that interested. And mainly it here. You have Edwards, Lamb. Both guys look fine. Small forward. Durant looks very good. If there's no Harden, I would probably grab it. Definitely try to get him in there. Sixers. If there's no Embiid, you can definitely play Tobias or Ben Simmons. We have like Lamb. You can play at small forward. We have I think a decent value play is Prince from the Cavs. He doesn't start for them, but he comes off the bench. He's gonna play around like 20 minutes, 20 to 25 off the bench, and price tag at only 43. It's a really good spot against the Timberwolves, and he can definitely play more minutes than like Chetty Osman. Osman's been struggling recently. Not that Prince has been letting it up, but Osman, the coach seems to not want to play him a ton, so I think you definitely could take a shot on Prince at only 4,300. A really good spot and a guy that definitely can shoot the ball a little bit and definitely can like put up some fantasy points. Other guys at small forward besides Prince, don't think I have too much interest in guys that are cheaper. Like Okoro is cheap, but a very bad point per minute guy, so not that interested. Bruce Brown looks solid if there is no Harden tonight. Definitely will probably play Bruce Brown over Prince if there is no Harden. At power forward, we have Kevin Durant. You have Sabonis, who looks solid, but Pascal is going to be tough for me not to have at only 7,600, just with how much minutes he's going to play if he's not in foul trouble. Which props to him, he's actually been doing a decent job recently of staying out of foul trouble. Early in the season, it was definitely bad. But he's playing, still been kind of up and down, but just without Powell and without OG, just more rebounds, a little bit more usage, and the matchup is fine against Orlando. Their defense has really taken a hit this season just with all the injuries. So I definitely like Pascal at a really nice tag. You have Vanderbilt looks fine right now. If Naz Reid is out again, then he looks even better. Only 5,300, good spot against Cleveland. We have Bertans at 47. He's been really bad. Well, he's only played once since the 11th. I won't be too harsh on him, but he's not been as good of a player that the Wizards thought he would be. He's only played 12 games this season, but shooting the ball under 30, like 4% from three. They probably thought they were getting a 40+% shooter. I think I'll kind of take a pass on him for now. Then we have like TLC looks okay. Definitely will wait on the Harden news. Only a play if Harden sits. And that's pretty much it. And then you have Yuto Watanabe, who played well, but I don't want to chase that. I mean, it's not really a chase. He's still going to get some decent minutes. If you wanted to go cheap here, you could. I prefer Terrence Davis, though, and I definitely definitely Terrence Davis. Moving on to the center, we have definitely a lot of pay-up options. If Embiid's in, you have Embiid, Sabonis, and Vucevic all above 8,000. You also have Drummond in there, but don't really play Drummond now that they have Jared Allen backing him up. Out of the guys that I feel comfortable with, if Embiid's in, I think he looks solid, but Vucevic is pretty affordable at only 8,700. Fine matchup against the Raptors. I'm not really worried about Aaron Baines, so should be a good spot to rebound the ball. And I definitely think that Vucevic has a ton of upside. Last time, tough matchup against the Clippers, they got blown out. But before that, he was shooting the ball well. He's actually like shooting the ball great from distance this season, better than a lot of sharpshooters. So Vucevic, really good fantasy player in general, and I think it's a fine spot against like Aaron Baines and Boucher. Speaking of Boucher, he's only 5,600. The price tag has come down huge. The minutes, I don't know why he's not getting more minutes than Baines. Like Baines isn't not doing a ton, probably because of his defense. But I would still have a guy that has a lot better offense than Baines, who's out there. 13 and 14 minutes the last two games. Only 14 minutes. He did have 4 fouls, but 14 minutes when they were missing two like rotation pieces is a little bit worrisome. Vanderbilt, talked about him. He looks good. If Reed is in, I like him at 57. And that's mainly it. And then back to guard, I'll go ahead and put in Darius Garland at 56. I like the price tag on him. Definitely gives you upside. And now that he's not on a minutes limit anymore, if this game is close, which it probably will be, Could play like 34, 36 minutes, and he takes a lot of shots, can get some assists, and he's actually been pretty solid for fantasy this season, so don't mind it on a short slate. But that is pretty much it for the DraftKings side. Let's go over to Fanduel. All right, over on Fanduel here, starting off at point guard, have nice tags on one specific play in general, and that's Kyle Lowry, who's 6,600. At the top, we have Westbrook, who definitely I think Irving looks better if there's no Harden. Westbrook's been fine. He got ejected last game, but he's just been struggling shooting the ball. Even though he shot well last game, it's kind of been tough. If he's not limited anymore, then he could be a play. But right now, I think like if there's no Harden, I'd go to Kyrie Irving instead. I like the price tag on Brogdon a little bit at 84. Like Lowry's just really cheap. Garland looks solid as well, and that is mainly it for the point guards that I'm considering. But Lowry just looks the best because he's so cheap. At shooting guard, Van Fleet, it looks fine, but I think like on DraftKings, he's only a little bit more expensive than Lowry. On FanDuel, he's 2,100, so I definitely like Lowry more on FanDuel. This position isn't super deep, so you probably can make a case to pay up for Van Fleet. If not, the one cheap play that you have is like Terrence Davis, who is only 3,800. Definitely looks to be a solid value play at the shooting guard position. Beal is 11,000. I definitely won't be getting up to that. And then like Russell looks solid if he's in. Lamb looks all right. Edwards looks okay if there's no Russell. And that's kind of it. And a small forward, if there's no Harden, then Durant looks great. Pascal looks to be like a really solid option at 75. Tobias looks great if there's no Embiid. Even if Embiid plays, he's in play. I like Fournier a bit at 66. But he's definitely like the fourth option out of the guys that are expensive. And then for cheap plays at this position, not a ton. Maybe Stanley Johnson at 4,400. And then the Wizards are getting Denny Avdija back and Troy Brown. Avdija looks alright at 37 if you need a pump play. Kind of it. Definitely liking the Raptors a bit on FanDuel, as you can tell. At power forward, you have Prince, way too expensive at 6,000, but this position is also pretty weak. Sabonis looks solid, and then Gordon's been awful the last couple games. His price tag keeps going down drastically. I'll ride it. I'll take a shot on him one more time. Because he's so cheap, the position is really bad, as you can tell when you have Prince as your second most expensive play. So I definitely love the upside that Gordon presents. Tough matchup against the Clippers last game and got blown out, and then just had a bad game against the Kings. But you often don't get a guy that has 40-point upside at 5,500 at the power forward position. So he is a guy that I will take a shot on. And then Bertans is cheap at 46. And then at center, I like Embiid at 99 if he's in. If he's not, then I'd probably go to Vucevic at 94. Not that interested in Drummond, and only way I'd play Turner if there's no Embiid because Turner can get into foul trouble pretty quickly. But he does give you a lot of upside on FanDuel with the blocks. But if Embiid's in, I'll be a little bit concerned with the foul risk. And that's it. I'm not going cheap at center. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it, and best of luck today.